Hey, what's up guys? This is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and for this review, we are looking at, I don't know the exact name, okay? I'll put it in the title. It's like ZT Toys Not BROLY, something like that. It's the new knockoff BROLY, which I bought for myself this time. I didn't have to borrow it. Last time I reviewed it, what was that? Beast Kingdoms BROLY, you know, I said it wasn't all that good. It was getting a lot of hype, and all the usual people were like, it's the best thing ever, it's the newest thing, it's the best thing, of course it's the best, it's the newest. And I was like, it's actually not that good. It's fine, there's like some good stuff about it, some bad stuff about it. It's a pretty middle review. And they just lost their minds. They could not handle it. And this thing improves upon basically everything that I said was wrong with the other one. So I'm curious if everybody's saying this thing is good now, because if they are, then they're contradicting what they said when I reviewed the other thing. But this thing is pretty darn nice. It's not perfect, there's some issues, we're going to talk about the good and the bad, but I gotta say, of the third-party Dragon Ball figures I've handled, which isn't a ton, to be fair, it's been like Kid Buu and BROLY and, I don't know, some like repaint Vegeta or something like that. It's not a ton. This is the nicest one. And like I said, I don't get these things a lot, so you can let me know if you think it's actually up there or not in terms of quality, but it's up there in terms of being close enough to a real thing in terms of quality. But anyway, let's go ahead and get it off the stand and take a closer look. Alright, I obviously don't have a link for this guy. In fact, I don't think he's available anymore. I got him, like, so the reason I have this even is because I was talking in the comment section to a couple of guys, and they mentioned how this is coming out soon, am I going to review it? And I said, I don't know, it looks pretty good, but I don't know. They said, well, this one's still available at this one place, and then there's like two versions of this guy, yellow with like a redder thing, I think, and then this one that has the greener and purple, whatever, wine color. So I was like, okay, fine, I'll get it, and I'm guessing they're sold out now everywhere. But like I said, I'll put the title correct, so if you need to search for this thing, you can find it. I don't think you're going to be able to find it in stock anywhere, though. Alright, he stands to his head about 23 centimeters, roughly, maybe 23 and a half. Including the hair, it's like 28 and a half. He's pretty dang big. And that's going to make him about, we'll call it 9 1/4 for the head, and then 11 1/4 for the hair. Here he is up against Darwin. Humongous. And here he is up against, I pulled out the BROLY that actually matches him, the official one, color-wise. Which I still think, by the way, is a pretty darn good figure, especially for the time it came out. It's a very fun figure, and they did a lot of things really nicely on it, though it is not a flawless figure, of course. Every BROLY I've ever reviewed has trouble standing. It's very irritating, because he's damn top-heavy. But there you go. So size-wise, looks-wise, there's the comparison between the official version of this guy and this version. I complained about this for sure when I first reviewed it, the way they just sculpted it here. They did it right here. That's nice. Skin tone, I think, is nicer here. The hair is probably better here in terms of the shading. I don't really love the way they did the shading anyway, so this isn't bad. Otherwise, it's pretty damn comparable. The little gems, they're bluer on this guy, a little darker blue, but like, this is nice. For a third-party figure, it's really nice. And it's not like Bandai's not known for having loose joints and things on their figures. These official companies are making it easy for the third-party companies to compete. Like, what the heck? You know what? Reviewing a figure like this, I expect loose joints. That's fine. When I'm reviewing an official Bandai product, it better be rock solid. Like, that's the whole thing. That's what you need to do. That's your job as a company. They don't do it, so these guys have lots of room to get in the game, even if it is somewhat dubious. All right, so let's look at the aesthetic. Well, first of all, question of the day. Are you guys into this sort of thing? Are you not? This is a brand new sculpt, of course, so it's strictly third party, not straight up bootleg, so I'm like way more okay with third party than I am straight up bootlegs, though obviously, like I said, it is still a gray area because you're still stealing IP, and a lot of people make the case, well, who cares? You can make that argument if you want. It's a thing. You don't get to say it's not happening. It is happening. You can say you're okay with theft, and that's your argument. That's fine. I'm more okay with IP theft than I am with actual mold theft. That's a different thing altogether. IP theft is a very gray area, like legally, because of, you know, custom artwork and things like that, and what are you allowed to do and what aren't you allowed to do? Are you stealing money from the company or not? And like, there's it's an actual gray area. It's very hard to litigate that sort of thing, whereas if you're stealing actual product, or molds I should say, which is a product of sorts, that's clearly a thing. Okay, anyway, let's get into it. I think this thing looks freaking cool. If I was going to sculpt a BROLY, this would be pretty damn close to what I would do. The only thing I would change would be the neck trap area, which it's like, that's arguable for Dragon Ball anyway. They often don't have traps. And I think his face is a little long, at least where they place the eyes. But otherwise, this thing is just nuts. It's sculpted so much better than that Beast Deities one with the fangs sticking down on the rib cage. This thing looks so much better. It has a much higher finish quality. The shading throughout is very nice. It's maybe not absolutely perfect, but most companies aren't. I mean, the real ones aren't. These guys definitely get a pass for having like a spot there, or it's a little heavier here than over here, but it's really nicely done. I'd say the worst thing about this thing is the pants are a little bit too shiny for me, but you could argue he's glowing. Maybe they did argue that, I don't know. But they're covered in shading. The gold is equally good to the Bandai product. The gems, like you can see in some spots, they sit a little proud, I guess. You can maybe see a little bit of glue residue on there. You probably can't even see it on camera. They're pretty good. They're really, really nice. His necklace, very well done. Like it looks like if you didn't know better, if you were new to collecting, you wouldn't be able to pick this out as being unofficial, for sure. The face, like I said, it's really nice. I think they just put the eyes a little too high up on the head. I think if you sunk the eyes down just a little bit, it would look so much better. But I know some people like the more stylized, elongated Dragon Ball heads. So even that's fine. And he has the texture in the hair rather than just the flat chunks. It's really good looking. Really, really good looking for those of you curious. He does have the nipples, but there's no paint on there and no real detail. But yeah, he looks friggin' nice. Really nice. And you'll see it when we do the articulation. There's some things on this that they did way better than Bandai has achieved in any of their figures. At least one thing, I think. But yeah, aesthetically, 9 out of 10. 9.5. It's like, it's really, really well put together. Really nice. Now, as far as accessories go, these guys came to play, or whatever the saying is. He's got the interchangeable arms. I'll comment on how well those work. I haven't tried it yet. I tend to not use these things. I mean, like, they make for cool poses, but I'd rather have a little bit more of a dynamic display, I think, when I have room for it. So anyway, I'll let you know. They're a little bit shiny, but whatever. Okay, we've got a really nice spread of faces. That's cool. You have to put his earrings on for each face. And the earrings are made out of crap plastic. They break when you try to pull them off the sprue. So be careful. Even if you clip them, just handling them, trying to put them over the ears, they can break. I broke one in half because I put just a little bit too much force on it, trying to get it on, trying to cut the sprue thingy off. So just be careful with that. I would go to the craft store and just buy some gold rings and put them on there. They cost like $1. But yeah, you get them, so that's fine. And then you get a buttload of hands. That's really nice. Hands with pegs in them because he comes with 2 of his balls, which are just plain old round balls. I'm fine with that. And then you get his super ball, which I don't know what this thing's called. I don't remember, but it's really cool. The downside with this thing is that you have to assemble it, and one of the light bursts, if you want to call it that, the peg just doesn't stay in. It doesn't sit deep enough and tight enough. I just threw some tape over the hole and then jammed it on over the tape, and then that worked, but it's still not quite deep enough. Never mind. So you can fix that. But otherwise, it's a pretty damn cool effect piece. It's not absolutely perfect. Some of them are nice and snug, like the ball parts, the spherical part. They're nice and snug. Some of them jiggle around, but still, it's pretty damn good, especially for an unlicensed third-party figure. They are bringing their A game. So that's great. And then you do get, I think this is a spare neck peg. I didn't really pay attention to it when I took it out of the box. I don't know why they gave that. His neck peg works. If I remember correctly, that other BROLY had all kinds of joint problems. This guy does not. Well, some, but we'll see. So anyway, accessory-wise, 9.5 out of 10. There's no display stand or aura effect or anything like that. Hey, I could have made one of these green. That's not bad. This is one of the things I made recently. I 3D printed it. It's in purple right now. But I could have made it green just to give him a little bit of something. On camera, it looks like it's not really adding much to the figure. But it's not bad in person, especially from like the side or something. Anyway, yeah, he doesn't have an aura or anything. But he's got tons of other stuff. So yeah, really good accessory spread. Now, can it pose? What's the articulation like? I'm going to start off with one thing because I'm sure it's going to happen as I'm handling it. And that is this. Which is the kind of thing you typically don't see from a first-party company, but sometimes you do these days. So the problem is, it's not down here, it's this. Mine's split, and I'm sure it's actually 2 parts, so it's just not being held together properly, so you can see it's loose. Maybe yours will do that, maybe it won't. If that's just an actual crack, honestly, it actually kind of looks like it. Let me see. You know, I was going to say it's 2 parts. It's not. It is actually just cracked. The crack couldn't be more down the center, really. The good thing is it can't keep going because there's nowhere for it to go. So you can just put some paper in there and it'll be tight again. You know, put a little bit of paper in there or like plastic bag, like Ziploc bag or whatever. Put that in there, pop it back in. You should be fine. But yeah, mine is actually cracked. So the tolerances weren't good enough. That sucks. But easy to fix at least, so that's nice. And it's not loose while it's on, so I think they just screwed up in the design phase. So yeah, just throw some paper on there, some plastic on there, you should be good. Alright, now, for the articulation. I want to pop this off. The head actually fits on the ball really nicely. Come on, there we go. Double ball peg in the head. Plenty of range. It's pretty stiff. I still don't get it. Are they different tolerances? I'm not going to swap it out right now. I told you that was going to happen. It fits nice. It's not too stiff, so I don't know why they gave us a second one. It's not like you're going to break this, so that's a little bit weird. But that works nicely. The neck doesn't have a ton of range, and it's probably a little bit overshaded, but maybe they did that on purpose because the chin would be casting a lot of shadow on there. Mostly you're going to get rotation out of that. It doesn't have a lot in the way of leaning, so yeah, you know, that's not great. And obviously you get your double ball peg up there, but his face and hair will get in the way. Usual stuff. For the shoulder, I'm very impressed with how they handled this. First of all, you can just sink them in there if you like that look, which is not bad at all. If you don't like the butterfly look, you can basically just hide them. And you can also pop them out, and he's even broader. And it's not bad. Like, it's pretty close to the way Bandai's been doing their shoulders lately. But it works on this guy. You get a lot of butterfly. Up and down's not a ton, but it's enough. Like, that is not bad at all. It doesn't feel too loose or too tight. Like, you could always maybe make things a little bit tighter when they're not super tight, but it's not bad. Like, it doesn't feel sloppy at all like that Beast Kingdoms figure did. The shoulder works really nicely, the main shoulder. Bicep swivel is fine. Double jointed elbow. I haven't done this yet. I wanted to save it for video. It's not bad. He's pretty chunky. You get about 90. It's not the best looking thing, it's not the best functioning thing, but is perfectly acceptable, so that is okay. Then the wrists, the hands actually swap out really nicely, and the wrists are on little ball hinges, so that's fine. This part of the torso, it's technically articulated, and it technically can do things. It's pretty hard to do while it's on the figure, but it is there. He does lean forward and back on it. Side to side is very minimal. It's there, but it doesn't give you a ton, and that's because of the innards of the shoulder joint. But yeah, it works nicely. This is, like I said, a better version of the Bandai one. Mine's not seated quite properly. That's the kind of thing you see with third-party stuff more frequently. But, you know, it's not the end of the world. The cut is still ugly as hell, but whatever. I think what they should have done, since they did this part better than the Bandai one, is actually separate it here, make these 2 pieces, and then don't have this horrible cut. The cut does kind of ruin it in terms of looks, but it is a nice flexible material, so whatever. Now for the hips, I think hips and legs, they designed these really well. This is a good looking set of super baggy pants. Again, plastic is questionably shiny. These pieces are hard plastic, so they look a little bit different. You don't see them because they're under the skirt part, but yeah, maybe they're supposed to be. Maybe they went shiny on purpose because nothing else is super shiny. Anyway, range, basically full on splits, no real nuggets. They are a little bit too loose. Well, that one's very loose now. They weren't that loose a second ago. At least they didn't feel like it. They're very, very loose. That's not an easy thing to fix, because that's that joint in there. You can't really do much about that, so that's going to suck. Like I said, the official one has that same problem, but that is definitely something you're going to have to contend with, which is unfortunate, because splits, loose splits on figures always do it, because the figure's weight makes it happen, and then they fall down. Going forward, they are not loose. Going back, that's fine. You do get your thigh swivel in there, which works pretty well. Now, here's the thing that I think they did the best out of all of the Bandai releases, maybe. I mean, they've got some nicer knees now, but sometimes only. The double jointed knee doesn't get a ton of range, but it is not an ugly knee. Like, they hit it basically pretty well. It's not perfect, but that's a pretty good way to do that. It's certainly better than the official BROLY, because that's an older figure. But all you need really is some more range, and that's a perfectly justifiable knee. They've painted everything in there. I think that's a perfectly good thing. So other than the hips being loose out to the side, it works pretty well. And then for the ankles, you can point the toe down pretty far, and you can point the toe up, not that far, but a little bit. And then you do get a really solid ankle rocker. That's really nice. And then the toe hinge is not great, but it's functional. It serves its purpose. It's serviceable. It doesn't look great, but it's there. So yeah, other than this guy having really loose... I wish I could figure out a way to... I don't know how to get in there to fix that even. I guess you could squirt some of that floor polish stuff in there and see, but you're kind of risking that. So yeah, other than the hips being loose, and of course this being cracked and him falling apart, which, you know... that's not what you want. You don't want your figure falling apart, but it is at least somewhat excusable since it was a quality control issue and not a design issue. And as long as you don't pull on him, he's actually still functional. The joint's not too loose. Anyway, his articulation is pretty good. I will go 8 out of 10 overall. It's nice. Now it's time for the final verdict. Would I recommend this? Yes, I would. I think this is a really, really, really nice figure, especially for being a third-party figure. They did a really good job with it. Obviously, there are some issues that could be improved upon, but generally speaking, it's everything you want it to be. And if you're not going to pose him too much, then the loose hips don't matter. If you want to do hero poses, he's fine. If you're going to pose him, those hips may be an issue. Throw some sticky tech in there maybe, I don't know. But yeah, it's a good release. I'm going to give it an overall rating of... I think I'm going to go 9 out of 10. The loose hips are really annoying. The ball socket that cracked, I don't like it, obviously, but that's not anywhere near as big a deal. Honestly, the loose hips are really the biggest issue, and that's only out to the side. So yeah, I'm going to go 9 out of 10. It's a really, really good release. I'm happy I got it. And so whoever those two people were, if you want to shout yourselves out in the comments, I'll pin it. If you guys remember, I'll go back and check. If a whole bunch of people say it was me, I'm going to go check. But yeah, it's a really nice pickup for a Dragon Ball collector. If you really like Broly or just cool figures, yes, I recommend it. 9 out of 10. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below, but I'll be done there. So thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please do give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down. And if you haven't subscribed, you should. I have new videos just about every single day and thousands already on the channel. So make sure you come back for all of that. And in the meantime, keep collecting.